Everything's crooked, but we like it. I like think it's kind of cute. Kind of fun, kind of fresh. Okay. Hi, I'm back. Did you miss me? You probably didn't know I was gone. What happened? Why I have been gone for most of the month of June is I had to do developmental edits on my novel that's coming out next year. And I was like ready. I was like, 6 weeks. This will be a fun, fresh, easy time. That was literally the most mentally taxing thing I've ever done in my entire life. My book went from 62,000 words to 98,000, so I added a ton of words and rewrote a ton of the words that were already there. It was exhausting and really difficult. I just truly didn't have the capacity to do literally anything else. But we're back now. The book is with the editors. Eventually it will come back to me. I think I'm going to have another round of developmental edits to do because I added so much content. But it'll get there. It's getting better every time, even though this is a horrifying experience. It's fun. It's horrifying in a cute, fun way. I decided to come back and do the mid-year freakout tag. I've been seeing a ton of people doing this. Most of it was several weeks ago while I was still deep in edits. But actually, we're at the middle of the year now. So I feel like this is actually a more appropriate time to do it if we're going to be precise. Anyway, so let's jump into it. I'm using the questions from Books and Lala's tag because I think she added a couple questions to her tag that weren't in some of the other people's. And hers was the one I watched most recently. So that's why we're using her questions. So far, I have read, I'm very behind on my reading goal. But I have read 57 books. I should be closer to 75. I have a video coming out on Friday that should be kind of talking about my plan to amend that situation. But it turns out getting a book deal really takes up a lot of time and great energy. And I just haven't had the time to devote to reading that I should be. But I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to still get to my goal of 150. I believe in myself. But I have read 57 books so far this year. First question is best book you've read, and I'm going to truly just give you one book. Everyone's been giving more than one, and I'm going to give you a single answer because I truly just adored this book. My absolute best book so far of 2022 is Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. This is the story of this woman. She has just turned 32, I believe. It covers the year that she's 32, and it's about her dating and living life in London. And so it's about what it means to be an adult and how do you kind of navigate relationships with people as you guys are all growing up. So it's about her navigating dating, but it's also about her and her friends as her friends enter new stages of their lives, and also her relationship with her parents as her parents are getting older and everything that comes along with that. And it is such a beautiful intimate look. You really feel like you're her friend. It gives me very much Fleabag vibes also. If you wanted something to compare it to. It's gorgeous. It was funny and charming, and I absolutely adored it. Second question is best sequel you've read. I was looking through and I didn't adore any of the sequels I've read. I didn't hate any of them either. I've read a few sequels, but none of them were top tier absolute favorite things ever. So I'm not gonna say any of them because I just didn't adore them, and I wanted them to be 10 out of 10. And I just haven't read any pieces of series that have really wowed me so far this year, and maybe I'm a little spoiled because I did read Throne of Glass last year, and Throne of Glass just continues to get better and better with every book. But I just didn't feel that way about any of the sequels I've read so far this year. So we're gonna skip that one. A favorite reread. I actually don't know if I've really reread much this year. You know what? I did reread the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout in preparation for the most recent From Blood and Ash book. I love those books. They are not good. I can objectively say that. Jennifer, if you're listening, I adore them, but they're kind of a mess. I love them. There is nothing like those first two From Blood and Ash books to the amount of dopamine that gets released in my brain when I read them is unreal. So I think those are actually my only rereads so far this year, but I do kind of have some rereads coming, hopefully. I'm planning on rereading all 3 of Emily Henry's adult books. So yes, that's coming hopefully soon. I think I'm going to do a video rereading all of Emily Henry's books. As a treat. Again, a little treat for me finishing my developmental edit. Genre you've been reading and loving the most. I think this year the genre that has kind of surprised me as something that I have been really enjoying is literary fiction. I've read several literary fiction books that have just really wowed me. It's not that I was a literary fiction hater before. I really feel I read most genres and enjoy them, but if I were to have picked a favorite genre and I don't think literary is my favorite genre, but a lot of my 5-star reads from this year have been like literary fiction books, books that are like character rather than plot heavy, and I've just been like really enjoying really beautiful writing. I read Conversations with Friends, which is stunning. I absolutely loved that. I read Call Me by Your Name, and I absolutely loved that. I read Memorial by Brian Washington, which was like absolutely gorgeous. Everyone in this room will someday be dead. I've just been like really enjoying like really rich, beautiful writing this year, and like prioritizing that over story, where I think before I was like a story over writing girl. I may have like reversed it. Not always, but I've just like been really enjoying beautiful writing. New release you haven't read but want to. Everything I'm like really looking forward to reading is a rom-com. There's like a bunch of rom-coms that have come out because it's summertime, and I'm looking forward to reading a bunch of them. I'm really looking forward to Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, because I've heard it is like Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, which is like one of my all-time favorite romance books. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. I have Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey right here. I'm like currently reading this one. Excited about that one. I loved It Happened One Summer, One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surley, Something Wilder by Christina Lauren, Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma, and Funny Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. So those are a few of the rom-coms that I'm really looking forward to reading. I like hope we have like a rom-com era coming up. It's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that July is like rom-com era, because there are a bunch that I really want to get to, because I love a good cartoon cover romance. Like, delightful. Most anticipated release, there's like one answer for me. I'm like so excited for Carrie Soto Is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am a Taylor Jenkins Reid fangirl. I love all of her Famous Women series. I'm slowly working my way through her backlist, but I am very excited for Carrie Soto. It comes out right around my birthday. Like, I think it comes out on Tuesday. My birthday's on Wednesday. So, like, thank you for the birthday treat, Taylor Jenkins Reid. Very excited. By far and away, my most anticipated release for the rest of 2022. My biggest disappointment, maybe you can tell by the fact that I haven't been loving sequels this year, but my biggest disappointment is going to be a sequel, and kind of the series as a whole. I like feel bad saying this because I truly adore Sarah J Maas. Throne of Glass is my all-time favorite book. I think she's such a brilliant storyteller, and I'm also very willing for the series to change and evolve. I think Sarah does such a brilliant job of laying the groundwork for her series in her earlier books, and it comes to like such a beautiful fruition in her later books. But I have not loved either of the Crescent City books. I read both of those books this year, and I just don't think they're really truly my genre. I'm coming to you live from my edits, and I'm sorry that you can like hear my computer buzzing. But I just needed to come here with like a quick clarification, because I was lying to you. I don't know why. My biggest disappointment was House of Sky and Breath, because I had like high hopes for it. But I said that I didn't really enjoy either of the books. I want to clarify that, because I gave the first book 4.5 stars. And I gave this one 3.5, so like not terrible. I just like was hoping for a 5-star read. You know, I was hoping for a 5-star. I only gave House of Sky and Breath a 3.5. I found, for me, these stories are like just a little too long. Like, I get lost in the minutia of the story. But I don't think that they're bad. This made it sound much worse. Like, 4.5 stars to the first book, because the ending of the first book is so good. And then this book, the ending is also so good. But I really, like, was a little bored in the middle. It's just, it's set up more as, like, a mystery rather than, like, the political intrigue, the large-scale, like, fantasy story. And that's what I'm looking for, and I wasn't getting that. But I just wanted to clarify, because it sounded much worse than it actually is. And we haven't gotten to the part of the series where I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Although, if you've read House of Sky and Breath, you know that ending is truly spectacular, and I will be continuing because I'm really looking forward to what comes next with House of Sky and Breath. But I was kind of sad that I just wasn't head over heels in love with them. I like really wanted to be like head over heels in love with the Crescent City books, and they just didn't work for me as well as I had hoped. Biggest surprise. I think my biggest surprise was not a book that I thought was going to be bad, but a book that I didn't think I was going to be like enjoyable. Like, I really thought that this book was going to be like A Little Life Junior, like A Little Life, or maybe not Junior because that makes it younger, A Little Life Senior, A Little Life Short and Girly. But I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath this year, and holy guacamole. Like, that book is, one, so funny. I think it's very much painted, at least in my perspective, as this book that is like tragically dark and depressing and so serious. And it deals with mental health. It deals with this young woman's depression. But I found this book, I was like a little worried. It's an older book. Sometimes older books like don't read as easily. This book was laugh out loud funny. It was so relatable, and just like brilliant and incisive and just so good. And like maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but I think sometimes with classics I can like appreciate their merit without having like a good time. But like The Bell Jar I like enjoyed on every level. Like I enjoyed it on a literary level, I enjoyed it on like a historical context level, I enjoyed it like on just like a this is a fun time to read level. And I wasn't expecting that, and it was such a pleasant surprise. Next question is favorite author, or any new favorite authors. I haven't read a lot of like doubles, and most of the time I don't consider an author a favorite until I've read a few of their pieces, a few of their books, so I can make sure it's not just like a book thing. But I think as far as like writing style that I really fell in love with, I absolutely adored Ghost by Dolly Alderton, as I said, and I'm like really looking forward to reading some of her other work. I know she has like a memoir out and maybe another novel. I haven't looked into it, but her writing was like so engaging that I'm really looking forward to reading more from her. I think she's gonna be brilliant. Same thing with Kate Elizabeth Russell, I believe, who wrote My Dark Vanessa. Her writing in that was just stunning. I'm looking forward to, I think My Dark Vanessa is the only thing she has out right now, but I'm looking forward to whatever she writes next because I think her writing is really, really, really good. And then another one that I would consider like a favorite author is Sally Rooney. This is my second Sally Rooney book. I read Normal People last year, and I like enjoyed it, but I didn't like love it. I was like, I'm kind of like neutral about this. I absolutely adored Conversations with Friends. I like thought she did such a brilliant job exploring these characters in such an interesting way. And so I think Sally Rooney. I like consider myself a Sally Rooney girly now. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I thought I was going to be just someone who didn't get it, like the girls who get it, and the girls who don't. And I am a girl who gets it now. And I'm like happy for myself for that. So I would consider Sally Rooney a new favorite as well. Favorite character. I think my favorite character that I've read so far this year is from Conversations with Friends. I really enjoyed Frances. I thought she was really interesting and dynamic and not a character I felt like I had really read before. But I think Sally Rooney writes these like very relatable but also like horrible people and in a way that makes you really empathize with them. And I really loved Frances. I also think Charlie Lastra from Book Lovers, of course. Another Man by Emily Henry. Like, it's hard not to love them. So those would probably be my favorites. Charlie Lastra is the favorite. Best boy I've read so far this year, and Frances is my best girly. A book that made you cry. So I'm a big crier when it comes to reading. I cry in a lot of books. So like I said, I've read 57 books. I just went through and counted. I've cried in 21 of them. I do like make notes of any time I cry in a book, and so I've cried in, like about a third of the books I've read so far this year. The book that I cried the most in, there's a couple that I like really like got me sobbing. I sobbed in The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. That one got me. House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, the first Crescent City book. Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. A lot of tears. Book Lovers. Emily Henry never fails to make me cry. I don't think I've finished any of her books without crying at least a little bit. But I think the book that I cried the most in so far this year was actually like not a book, technically, as Storygraph likes to remind me, but it was too many words for me not to count it as a book. I read it because someone on TikTok like convinced me to. And I read Manacled, which is actually, I like made a video about it, but it's Harry Potter fan fiction. A little embarrassing that I'm admitting that, but like the girls who get it. And I sobbed. That book is heavy like A Little Life is heavy. Like not quite. We're sitting somewhere between A Little Life and A Court of Silver Flames in terms of like trauma and heaviness. But I cried a good amount in that one. I think that's probably like my most tears shed. Book that made me happy. A lot of these books made me happy. Book Lovers is, Emily Henry never fails to make me happy. She is a queen. Oh, I also read Hands Down by Mariana Zapata. I love a Mariana Zapata book. They are so good. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston made me happy. It was a nice one. Yeah, those are the books that made me happy. Happiest, I would say. Emily Henry, the Casey McQuiston I read, all delightful, all good things. Most beautiful book you've bought this year. I am not a book buyer. I'm a library girl through and through. But I have bought one book so far this year, and it's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I don't think it's like particularly beautiful. I don't like hate it. I think it has a cute, nice cover. But that's the only book I've bought this year. Have I been given any? I received House of Hollow last year. I read it this year, but I received it last year for Christmas for my sister, and that book is truly stunning. So I'm going to say that book, even though it's from Christmas of last year. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, which I also loved the story of. It was a really good book, too. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I don't know. I'm not a TBR girly. I'm not. I will read Carrie Soto by the end of this year. There's no series, no major series that I think I'm in the middle of that I'm working on. I mean, I have like a bajillion books they've started and not finished. There's a lot of things I might read, but I don't have a tight agenda of things that like for sure need to get done by the end of this year as far as books. Favorite video I've made so far this year. So I just started. I love my longer videos. I think my Little Life video is like an interesting one. It's an early one, so you know we're still trying to figure things out. But I think it's good, thoughtful. I also think my Court of Silver Flames and I don't know. I've still got my hands on my hips. Power posing. I think my Court of Silver Flames and Manacled video is also a good one. I really liked that conversation around fan fiction. We're still learning and we're still growing. Oh, and I loved making booktuber favorites. I've like really enjoyed a lot of my videos that I made so far this year. Favorite book community members. This is hard. I don't know. Books and Lala, Katie Colson. Those are two of my like favorites. Paperback Dreams always. I love Chandler Ainsley, even though I don't agree with any of her book tastes for the most part. Noelle Gallagher. Jack Edwards. Carly. Those are the people I watch mostly, I think. So that's my mid-year freakout tag. And I should be freaked out because I'm so behind on my reading goal. I like really need to get it together. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Book I need to finish by the end of the year. I do need to finish my novel that's coming out next year. That needs to get finished, I think, in edits by next year. And then I also have to draft a new guy. I have to draft a new little bookie book. So that's also a big project. So those are also coming soon. Coming soon. Okay, I will be back with more videos in July. July is going to be an exciting time. I have some fun stuff coming, some fun stuff planned now that edits are in, and I have a little bit more free time for now until I have to do my next run of edits. But hopefully I will have planned ahead better and will be able to better manage my time moving forward. Let me know what your favorite book of the year has been so far. I would love to hear. Subscribe if you want to hear more about things I like and things I'm reading. I will talk to you soon. Bye.